bunch of quarterbacks walking up to the line of scrimmage and counting bodies, and they're all dumb as hell because all they're doing is waiting for you to count bodies, change the play, and then they back up. And we got to be better than that. We got to, hey, this guy can't throw. We can't let the defense dictate that our young quarterback going to throw it 40 times.
And that's what we're doing.
Right.
Yeah. That's what we're doing.
We're just lining up, not playing football, just lining up.
And that's why I brought that point up, that people don't think you can run against a 7 or 8 man front. Yes, you can.
They ain't all on one side.
They can't be. And that's what I'm saying. And so you can't go in there, and we're not saying go beat your head up against a wall and just keep smashing into a group of people. We're saying run it when necessary. 2-3 yards is cool. Yeah. As opposed to making it 2nd and 10. 2nd and 7 looks a lot better.
Yes.
Than 2nd and 10, especially when you have a young quarterback back there.
And then think about this. Think about this, Frank. We run 2 plays, 2nd and 7, 3rd and 4. Now you got an athletic quarterback. Now you can send in a message to him. Hey, if it ain't there, haul ass. 4 yards.
Like their quarterback did us. Like their quarterback did us.
Yeah, right. Because that's what he's doing now. Look, and his coach is telling him, hey, don't throw it. Run with your legs. Don't try to make it happen.
So the running obviously is one of my biggest frustrations of this game, that we did not run against the worst run defense in the league. But I'm going to tell you something that really bothered me also.
Talk to me, baby.
We did not run the ball at the goal line with 30 seconds to go and 2 timeouts. And 2 timeouts. We threw the ball every single play.
I don't understand why this guy at times is not willing to admit that the strength of his team is running the football. It almost seems like he feels like a lesser coach if he has to acknowledge that fact.
Hey.
Which is strange, isn't it? Because I thought that was like his entire MO was like the run first game when he was in Minnesota, wasn't it? I mean,
you remember he only called plays one year.
Yeah. Good point, Eric.
And their offense wasn't as good that year as it was the previous year. And that's why Stephon Diggs wanted out.
Yeah. Hey, good points across the board, guys. But let's give credit where credit's due. Just like I gave Michigan credit of being a better football team on Saturday, I think Denver was a better team. They outcoached the Browns. They attacked that defense. They kept them off balance with a mobile quarterback. I didn't think Russell Wilson was going to be that active in the pocket. I mean, he gained depth in the pocket to get momentum going forward, create some critical 3rd down conversions, and throw some balls down the field. And kudos to him for doing that. And they're on a 5-game winning streak. They're tied with the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think they were the better team, guys. And they went in there with the attitude that I don't give a crap what the Cleveland Browns have done up to this point in time. They're on a roll.
Can you really say they were the better team or they were the better coach team?
Well, they were the better. I'll say they didn't have, and I believe this, they didn't have to be the better team. You when you play a team, you never have to be a better team, better than they are. You just have to be better that day than they are. And Denver was, in my opinion, better that really afternoon than Cleveland.
Not really, though. We had 3 turnovers.
Well, let me point this out.
They threw
to Mike's point.
They threw for the exact same amount of yards, which is 134. Right?
Yeah, that's amazing too.
Right. They both threw for 134. They rushed the ball a little more yards than we did because they rushed more than we did, and we had turnover. So they weren't really and drops. So they weren't really the better team. They just had more breaks and took advantage of them.
Well, so let's. And I agree. I respect what you're saying. But when I look at, so I'm reading the paper today, I look at the 30,000-foot view, and they quote Elijah Moore on Cooper's injury. I don't know if you guys read this or heard him say this or read it. It said he was talking about is it PJ Locke, the Broncos safety. He said it didn't seem like it was a hit that needed to be made on Cooper.
It's not football.
Well, that's my point. So there's the Browns mentality saying, well, that didn't seem like he needed to make that hit. Maybe, it wasn't the best business interest. You get what I'm trying to say. People understand what I'm trying to say.
Well, that's wide receivers. You could say that about any wide receiver on any team. No, it's true. It's true. Every time they get hit, they turn around and think it's a penalty.
So, well, you know what I would say? If you know you're going to take them hits, you might as well catch the damn ball.
Correct.
Yeah.
You've been hearing.
You might as well catch it.
Hey, you've heard that your whole career.
You're going to get
hit anyway.
Browns Nation, you're listening to In the Dog Pound with Leroy Horde, Eric Metcalf, Mike Tomzak, Frank Stams. Our guest tonight, Eric Vaughn from Red Point Digital, talking Browns football raw and unfiltered, found on alumnimedia.com, where you find all your podcasts. Reviewing the Broncos game. We'll get to the Rams game coming up. Any other thoughts on that Bronco game?
Defense. They negated Myles Garrett for the most part.
By running the football.
Correct.
Yeah, and they were putting a lot of helpers back there with them. They leaving tight ends on the wing to chip him, running backs to chip him. They did a good job. They schemed the Browns well. But with all that in mind, the defense still made enough plays to give them opportunity to win until the end, of course.
Right.
They gave them enough chances. If we tied up at 14-14, I think we got action.
Had some pretty pricey penalties throughout the game too, compared to the Broncos, I thought.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's like we had like I can't remember how many it were, but
lining up in the neutral zone.
Right. Just unforced errors. It's like it's the wrong kind of like penalties, right?
Right.
I mean,
and we had 3 turnovers, and we had how many turnovers on downs?
Right.
2 or 3. And so these guys, they went in there and as bad as they played and coached, I must add, they still had a chance to win that game until the end of the fourth quarter.
Right.
Yeah, and they're still in a good standing, when it comes to the AFC North. I think they're a game behind. I think they're tied 7-4 with the Steelers, and obviously Baltimore's out in front. They can get all back on track, this weekend against the Rams. Hopefully they can get some nice sunshine and relax a little bit out there in LA.
The Rams have played their best game all year.
Right, but the problem with that, Mike, is that you got to remember, if Denver keeps winning, they now have a tiebreaker over us.
Yeah.
Things like that. So they have to keep winning, because if Denver ties us, now we're out there in.
We're at that point of the season already. I thought the season just started like a week ago. We're already 12 weeks in. Holy cow! The season's flying fast.
Well, you should know better than that, Mike, because congratulations are in order, because you are in the second round of the playoffs with Youngstown State, having defeated the Dukes from Duquesne?
Yeah, Dukes from Duquesne. It wasn't really a strong team, but we executed well. We had a lot of big explosive plays and ended up winning 40-7.
Wow.
And we take the Penguins on the road all the way out to Philadelphia to play the Villanova Wildcats.
You think you might be in line? I mean, having put up so many points like that, 40 winning decisively, do you think if Kevin Stefanski's job comes available, do you think you'd put in for that?
I wouldn't be able to do this podcast. I'm getting paid a lot.
You'll be the head coach. You can do whatever you want.
I get paid a lot more money just sitting at home doing this podcast than I would be coaching the Browns. But that'll never happen, because I'm not interested in coaching full time. I'm a volunteer, and the great thing about being a volunteer, Leroy, is they can't fire your ass.
hey,
if you got tea time at 1 o'clock, you got to go.
Exactly. I'm looking here. You guys rushed the ball 46 times for 210.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Seems like a winning formula.
Right.
We had 77 plays, and we missed some yardage. Running backs weren't smart enough at a few times to trim that fat. You guys know how to trim that fat off that backside. Yeah. But Frank, let's we always seem to be offense oriented. We're talking about the inefficiencies on offense sometimes, but let's go through this linebacking core. We give all the kudos to the defensive linemen and the secondary and everything. 3/4 of the way through the season, from your 30,000 view, Give me your assessment of these linebackers.
No,
nowadays.
they gotta. I'm gonna say this, and this is, don't misread it. I mean, this is next to it's a great it's a compliment from me. They've got a really good defense. And but I mean, you win with performance, you lose with potential.
Hey.
I don't. I think they. I think Russell, the quarterback, is it Wilson? Yeah. He's a quality quarterback. That's a red hot football team. They're on the road. They didn't get any help from their offense. They're playing from behind. It was just it was a tough day for them. I thought, I think the Broncos was a physical bunch. I mean, you saw it. The Browns came out of that game. What worries me for the Browns is they came out of that game in worse shape than going into it. And I'm talking about as far as their physical health. And that's not where you want to be finishing up the season. But I do like what Greg Newsome said, and maybe you're seeing some leadership emerge here. He says, we just need to be resilient and be us. And that's to me, that's a tough-minded attitude.
I think
pretty straightforward, right?
Your shirt has changed you. Your choice of shirt has changed the way you're speaking today.
I hope I'm trying to be a little bit more professional.
I'm not happy with this.
No,
he's auditioning for a role.
Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing?
The collar.
Whoa.
Clark Kent. You got that Clark Kent look.
It's not my house that I'm in right now. I can't be snorting snot all over the computer.
What are you doing?
I just got to behave. I just got to behave myself a little bit, I guess. Have some decorum.
That's not what we do.
Right. But I'm still keeping it real. I'm trying to be nice.
Falling asleep because he can't argue with you.
No, I'm not falling asleep.
I'm just messing.
Right. I'm trying to be respectful to everybody. I think sometimes the banter gets a little out of hand when it's healthy that we disagree.
Right.
And I think it's good for the podcast when we disagree.
And
and plus I want to show my I'm trying to be grateful and gracious that, I got, I don't want to rub it in. I mean, my biggest regret of that game is not going to DraftKings or what it would be, another sports book, FanDuel, and getting odds for that under 125 yards rushing, because I just I pulled that number out of my ass and just threw it onto the podcast. And of course, you guys rightly jumped all over it. When I said under 125, you guys went nuts, and it came true.
And so I'm just gonna have to go out on a limb and say Stefanski likes you and listen to it. Because his ass he was not trying to run for 125, which he could have easily done.
Yeah, he could have easily done, because I'm counting the yardage at halftime. I think we were right around 75, 80.
But you know the thing about it though, at halftime, DTR had already thrown 20 passes,
which is too much.
20 passes at halftime.
Hey, take me back to a conversation we had earlier, Leroy and Eric, about the run checks. Maybe I was missing something. I didn't see many run checks where he was alerting things, or did you guys see it differently? I must have missed that.
Well, he could have, listen, you can go to the line of scrimmage and count bodies and give the check in your cadence. So just because he wasn't doing the hand gyrations or nothing, but that's almost what it looked like.
Yeah, okay.
If he had a run pass check, because I have a hard time believing that Kevin Stefanski was going into this game saying he was going to throw it 40 times.
I don't.
Yeah.
Seen it before.
Yeah, and sometimes these coaches get full of themselves, right? We talked about some of the ignorance, right? We talked about some of the ignorance.
Hey, no, I'm with you on the ignorance of coaches. I mean, some of these guys, they sell themselves. And Eric, you tell the best story in the history of smart coaches, when you got on the elevator with those Saints coaches last year at the stadium, and they looked at you and they said, and they thought they were going to outsmart us. This game. It's not as cerebral as people think it is. I mean, you guys, I've always pushed back a little bit about, throwing, how much they should throw the ball. But I can't. I'm thankful that every time he threw a pass, I'm thinking, wow, man, I can't believe he's doing this, but he's doing it.
Did you hear?
I looked at that game last night. I watched that game last night. The Bears, they ran the shit out of the ball against the Vikings.
Yeah.
And they helped their quarterback, and their quarterback's struggling. He's struggling. He had 2 turnovers, one with their second to last possession that I thought cost them the game. I turned the game off. Right. And the Bears came back and won that game.
Did you hear Mark Sanchez?
I turn the volume down when I hear guys from USC talk.
Mark Sanchez, the whole time, he was in disbelief that we were not running the ball.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it. He's like,
I read his lips.
Line up and run the ball downhill. What's with the reverses and all that?
Right.
Hey, talk about that reverse with Pierre Strong. Talk about that. Was that the right time to call that play?
No, you hadn't run it enough.
Yeah.
Even you had though, but that's the first play you put in with PJ.
Right.
Very first play he gets.
So hey Matt, when new guy come out, they're gonna be like, watch out for new guy. Watch out for new guy.
Especially in the slot.
Right.
Especially when he's in the slot. Come on. Oh man.
I think sometimes coaches go out of their way to be smarter than everybody, and they actually make themselves look dumber than everybody.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that smelled like overthinking it, because I mean, I can imagine thinking that, new quarterbacks coming in, so you're gonna like go and rush them, right? So you're gonna go and send everybody after him. In which case, maybe the reverse.
And look, this is not the most creative thing in the world. But every time Metcalf and Metcalf, and sometimes they put me, K-Mac, Metcalf, or me, Tommy, and Metcalf in the game at the same time, and they put Metcalf in the slot, and they would be pointing at Metcalf. Watch out for the shady business. Watch out for the shady business. And then we go straight downhill right at him. That's like,
yeah.
So, like, if you're paying attention to Metcalf, then you got these 2 hogs coming at you. Then what? But not us. No. We're going to run it with the new guy.
Hey, look here. So based on what Eric just said, and it smelled a little like overthinking, it's been smelling like that shit all year.
Yeah. we can't never feel good for a stretch of 3 weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about so they leave. They land in L.A. last night, or I'm sorry, Sunday night.
Sunday night.
Yeah, and let's talk about that. Let's talk about a week's preparation in a different city, the pros and cons. But I'm going to
practicing in pads anyway.
Yeah, they don't.
It's basically walkthroughs anyway. But here's the deal.
They went to St. Felix in Hollywood. They were out St. Felix in Hollywood, man. They were just hanging there on Sunday night.
Here's the one thing. It might help them out. It might help them out because they ain't got to deal with all the nonsense of answering questions all week. So it might help them out. That being said,
right.
Here's what I hope Kevin Stefanski doesn't do. They got a beast in the middle of the field in Aaron Donald, right? I don't want him to think, oh, we can't run towards him. We can't do this. We can't do that. So we're going to do this, because you are going to have the same exact game that you had last week. And you got to be able to run the ball against these guys, because that's the only thing that's going to keep Aaron Donald from being Aaron Donald, is doubling him, running downhill, and kind of getting his legs tired so that when you do throw the ball, he got nothing.
Leroy, I was always under the impression with the offensive coordinators that I've worked over the years, when you have a stud in the middle, you got to run at him.
Right.
You got to run right at him. You can't
Don't
run away
let him use his quickness.
Absolutely. And those backside cutoff blocks, I mean, you got a double team. You got to stay with that guy. Don't worry about the linebacker. Let the linebacker try to make the tackle 2 or 3 yards.
I give you a hell of a story. So
go ahead.
When we were playing in the Rose Bowl, right? We were playing against Junior Seau.
Hey, he just wanted to tell you guys he was playing in the Rose Bowl.
No, of course. I played in a bunch of them, so it was a normal.
He just wanted to tell you guys that.
But hey, I played in the Rose Bowl too. How about you, Eric? You played in the Rose Bowl?
No, the Southwest Conference didn't play in the Rose Bowl.
So Bo gets up when we start our preparation, and he says these words, and this is what the game plan was. He said, Junior Seau is amazing from sideline to sideline. He is almost unstoppable. He said, but here's what we're going to do. whatever side he lines up on, we're going to put a 330-pound guard in his grill. And our checks were checked to Junior Seau. And we did that for a whole game.
And did you got MVP?
We beat him.
Did you get MVP?
Yes, sir.
Nice. Did you really get MVP?
Hey, tell me about it, man.
I thought he did. I thought he did.
He really did want to bring up that Rose Bowl, didn't he?
But
the story asked the question, right? He threw me an alley.
That's enough of that story.
But you guys keep talking about Aaron Donald, but you know what I'm really worried about? I mean, of course, I've been worried about the offense and running the ball this whole year. Right. But I'm really worried about how are they going to deal with all this eye candy that Sean McVay is going to give them. Yeah, because we're susceptible to the big play. And
that kind of
everybody start waving their hands and then somebody run right by.
You were talking about hookers and blows showing up at their hotel or something like that.
No, man, I'm talking about the eye candy on the field. Guys going in motion, running motion over the top, return motions, everything just to throw it right here to Cooper Kupp.
Right. I got confidence in Jim Schwartz, though. I that's one thing I can lay my hat on. I got confidence that he has them in a controlled environment. You know, they're not going back to their homes; they're staying in a hotel, so he can meet with those linebackers to make sure they get the right calls. You know, to and from motion, away from motion, and worst case scenario, if they don't know what the hell is going on, use those timeouts.
Well, let me put it to you this, Mike, and you're a quarterback, and you're coach and all that. And let me ask you that: although Russell Wilson only threw for 134 yards in this game, it wasn't how he threw it; it was when he threw it, and those plays that they were getting, those chunk plays to Courtland Sutton.
Sutton, yeah, exactly.
And that's what I'm talking about. I'm worried about with Cooper.
I got
Kupp.
You. And Cooper Kupp is Cooper Kupp healthy?
He's healthy. He's not healthy, but the other kid, Mikal,
the rookie.
Yeah, the rookie, he's playing well. And so I'm worried about that. And now they got Kyron Williams back, who ran for 140-something yards this week. And so there's going to be a lot of eye candy. And we're not talking about with purses and chewing their gum hard, Frank.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they should be. They should be because they're coming off a loss.
That was good. I just got that. Nice. Right. So there might be some leadership emerging from the Browns, and I'm like a fan of his now. Is
Newsome.
Garrett?
Newsome.
No, Garrett says. Okay. Garrett says. And I heard him. I read it in the paper today. He goes, "I'm going to do what's legal and ethical, everything that's legal and ethical to get it done this week." And I'm thinking to myself, "Damn, I like that." Now, I mean, what to you, all of us, what is he trying to say? I'm going to do whatever's legal and ethical.
That means to me just goes back to what Elijah Moore said. Taking hits that they didn't feel like Amari should have taken. And he's going to just put some hat on folks and let them know. But that's what you should do anyway. It's football, right?
That's right. I mean,
listen, Myles Garrett is one of the scariest men on the field. That ain't going to do nothing but make him scarier, right? So, yeah.
He should take Njoku's mask when Njoku got burnt and put that underneath his helmet.
Or you can go make people scary. like TJ Watt.
There you go. Yeah.
he punched the shit out of that quarterback.
I know he did, man. How about that? Hey, speaking of violence in the NFL and everything, do you think this league is starting to get the haves and the have-nots? That there's an upper echelon of 6 teams and the other, whatever you do the math, the other 24 teams are, just out there to make a paycheck. They're just poorly coached and they're not real good football teams, because there's been some talk about the softness of this league.
Yeah, let's ask we got it from inside the locker room. Let's ask our guests. What do you see the NFL as? You think the PR machine is in full force?
Oh, Taylor Swift certainly wouldn't think so. So
yeah,
yeah, really, yeah.
I think that there's a certain. I don't know if there's any truth to it, but it's like with all this attention being placed on like the Chiefs, for instance, that there is this sense that they want the Chiefs to succeed more than other teams. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I just think that the hoopla around, what's going on there, kind of creates that notion. And I know a lot of fans who are like really willing to jump on that train. So,
I'm talking about the Jets and the Giants and the Carolina Panthers and these teams that are just god awful ugly. I'd hate to be a part of that organization as a player, unless you're just happy to make a paycheck.
Well, what does the NFL have to do with any of that? It's just poor organizations. What are you trying to say?
I'm just saying the state of the NFL as far as the competitiveness and teams that are out there, that are poorly coached.
I think there's there's more parity in the NFL now than there's ever been, to be honest.
And that's what he's saying, though. When you call it parity, he's saying they're bad teams.
Mediocrity.
They're all bad. They're all average bad teams. They're all about the same. Bad.
Do you guys see that? Do you guys see that though? I mean, is it just me or
let's think of it this way. Before the Baltimore Ravens played last week, you know who was the number one team in the AFC? The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah. Yeah, they had 2 losses. Yeah.
Now, that in itself leads to what you're talking about. Because I don't care if they're the first seed or the second seed. Ain't nobody in this league afraid of Jacksonville.
Anymore.
And it could be just the way they schedule set up, how they've been playing these games, where they've been playing these games, that they've gotten, some advantages during their schedule. They play in a soft division, right? So, like, you could end up with a good record, but not be a good team. And I think that's kind of what everybody's leading to, that when you see these teams with 8-3 and 7-4 records, anybody afraid of Pittsburgh?
So, right. So to do that, your list would be Kansas City, Philly, Baltimore,
San Francisco,
Frisco,
Jacksonville.
Dallas is on the fence.
Dallas.
Dallas on the fence. Detroit's on the fence. But then after that, everybody is just
right.
Well, I'll break it down.
Miami's in that same second tier too.
I'll break it down.
They haven't really beaten anybody.
I'll break it down for you, by conference. I think, and you guys are gonna, you think I'm crazy.
We think that anyway.
Yeah, those 2 teams that played last night, to me, those were bad teams.
Yes.
I think the AFC is better than the NFC. I think the AFC will win the Super Bowl this year.
You think there? I don't think there is a team in the AFC that's better than Philadelphia and San Francisco.
Hey, look here, Philadelphia. Did you see him at the beginning of overtime the other day, Graham? When Buffalo won the toss, and he said, "We won the lead," and he said, "It doesn't matter."
Right.
It doesn't matter.
There's teams that play at a certain level. These teams, when we talk about Baltimore, you talk about Kansas City, you talk about Frisco, and you talk about Philly. They've been there for the last couple of years. So there ain't nothing that happens during the course of the season where they're afraid or nervous or anything. And you can see that in the way they play. Philly had no right to win that game. But when the game went into overtime, you look on the sideline and look at their quarterback, and Jalen Hurts, he didn't even do a fist bump or nothing. He was just like, let's go.
Because they expect to win.
Right, exactly. But how many teams are like that? Most teams hope to win.
Right.
Yeah.
Philly, San Francisco, Baltimore is on the edge of that because they still throw up in the fourth quarter, right? And what does it say? Did I say San Fran or Kansas City, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Those are the teams. Now, they don't necessarily win all the time, and they won't necessarily win the Super Bowl because somebody get hot. We've seen it before, but when you watch these teams play, they play at a different level than everybody else. And that's why you put them up there.
Well, give me some hope. I'm a diehard Browns fan for the last 18 months. Diehard. Give me some hope, Leroy, that the Browns are going to get hot.
Here's what, and
are they too beat up injury-wise? Are there too many stars out?
You know what you do? When you're banged up, you beat up, you go to what you do best. right? Both
Punt on third
offensively,
down. They punt on third down.
on offense and defense, you do what you do best. And it's going to be a tandem operation because defense, because of the way the offense is playing, may have to take some risks because that's our better side of the ball right now.
Can Joe Flacco save the Cleveland Browns?
Oh, that's a great
Not
question.
unless we need to order the check.
Hey,
Eric,
is he calling the plays? Is he calling the plays now?
Well, he could be the type of quarterback that's mature enough to say, I can't hear the play call. And to say, hey, kid boys, let's go boss right. Let's go toss left. Let's go inside zone.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
He's a guy that can go vertical.
And they're going to say, take your ass back to the practice squad.
Yeah.
Why wasn't he? Why wasn't he? He just got there, right? So he only had a couple practices under his belt and everything.
Yeah.
Sounds like me when I came in.
Well, here's the thing.
How'd that work out?
I bet you this week they're getting him up to speed.
Yeah.
Right.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Out? Is he
out?
For...
Here's the deal.
I don't know yet.
Joe Flacco will play quarterback, not because he's a better quarterback, but because he makes better decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have a quarterback that makes better decisions, it gives you a chance because you're not shooting yourself in the foot with the turnovers. Right? And that's the thing. Now, I don't know how far Joe Flacco can throw the damn ball. I don't know any of this stuff. But I do know this. If he's playing quarterback, there won't be 3 turnovers.
Hey, but can we say this though? Can I say this though? I get that. But those 3 turnovers this past week, not one was an interception.
Okay.
There was Harrison Bryant under center.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The reverse and a strip sack.
Right.
So not one of those were interceptions. So we can't say that DTR didn't make
you're right. You're right.
We can't say
early on, he's got 4. He's got 4
digress a
interceptions,
little bit. What's up with why is Harrison Bryant? I mean, and this is the whole cutesy thing with Stefanski. Why is Harrison Bryant taking snaps under center?
Hey, not once, but twice.
I mean, it just, really? I mean, that you got to do that to win the game. And that, here's what I'm afraid for is the team starts thinking, well, shit, we can't get a yard or whatever it needs. We got to pull this trickeration shit. And then they all of a sudden get a soft mindset and, they need to, I don't know. I'm just a little worried about, the leadership going forward.
I think back to what you're saying. It's a cutesy thing because after the first 2 times we did it, 3rd and short, we went back to regular. DTR under, turn around, hand it to Kareem, he jumps over the pop.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? So
that's the best play. That's the best play right there.
It's just a matter of, I think I'm going to be cute right now and put Harrison Bryant under center. For what?
Mm-hmm.
You're handing it off anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So what do the Browns need to do to win in LA this week?
Run the football.
Let Hopkins kick as many field goals as possible. I don't know, Frankie. Score 1 point more, but they need to get back to that. I like that Myles Garrett statement.
Well,
they're at the point right now where they need to get back on a streak here, right? They got some soft opponents. They got the Bears coming up. They got the Rams coming up. They got some softies in the schedule.
Hey, T-Zach, they're not good enough to be thinking that far ahead.
Right.
They can
we is
what's going to happen. Well, he is, but he can't do it by himself. They can only think about what's going to happen in SoFi this week. And so they're going to have to go out there, be laser focused because they're on the road. Nothing is comfortable. They're not doing anything that they're used to doing, even in a regular away game. And so these guys are going to have to be laser focused, go out there, and it sounds cliche, no turnovers.
Right.
And possess
but it's not cliche. It's not.
Have they lost at home yet? Have the Browns lost at home yet?
Yeah.
Who'd they lose to? So 3 of their 4 losses came on the road, right?
Lost to the Ravens.
Yep. After the Ravens at home, okay. And the other 3 losses came on the road to Pittsburgh last week against Denver and
Seattle.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So are they a good road team? Are they a good road team? Yeah. How'd you recover from that? You able to leave your house?
Yeah, because we won some games after that.
Okay.
Browns Nation,
so
you're listening
Eric,
to
okay, go ahead, Frank.
Browns Nation. You're listening to In the Dog Pound with Mike Tomzak, Eric Metcalf, Leroy Horde, Frank Stams, our guest tonight, Eric Vaughn of Red Point Digital, talking Browns football, reviewing the Denver Broncos, the game, the loss, and previewing the Rams. The podcast is found on alumnimedia.com, raw and unfiltered, found everywhere where you find your favorite podcast.
When you wear that shirt, I'd like you to introduce yourself as Franklin.
Oh, can I do Francis? I never liked Franklin. My name is Francis. Really.
I know, but we want Franklin.
Oh, Franklin. I just hated that name. I'll tell you, maybe this week in LA, get their batteries charged a little bit. You guys know what it's like being in the sunshine. Myles Garrett said it. He goes, the shoulder concerns me. He says he had heard it popped. And anytime you hear something pop, that's not good. And he said flippantly, I just need to get some sun on it. But I know what he's saying, that it adds something to your step out there. I think they'll come. I don't think the weather's going to be too hot out there this week. Eric, I know you're going to the game. I think they got, like you said, get back to basics. I don't think they have to do anything fancy, but I certainly don't think, they can't get in at a track meet with the Rams, because the Rams have that eye candy that you mentioned. And we saw what they did this past week, put the number of points up on the board. And if they turn the ball over, and like you said, and give up the big play, it's going to be a long afternoon.
Right. All the
they
more
put the numbers up.
Honestly,
they put the numbers up. They put the numbers up, but we got to remember who they were playing.
Yeah, but I do think they'll start Joe Flacco this week, just trying to steady the ship out there, because this can go the wrong way in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that would be interesting. And the quarterback carousel continues. I mean, when are you going to get some consistency at the quarterback position? And there's different voices in the huddle, and you guys kind of know what that's like. Different cadence, different rhythm. So I think if Flacco's the guy, I'm bullish on Flacco. I think he could steady the ship, like you said, Frank. And as long as they turn to that run game, I don't want to see Flacco throw the ball 40 times. I truly don't. I mean, 18 times.
I don't think Flacco wants to see himself throw the ball 40 times.
And you know why
screen passes?
You know why he doesn't? Because that means his ass will be standing back there like a statue, and he don't want to get hit.
Right. Aaron Donald will see him like the coyote used to see the Roadrunner, like a big lamb chop.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, screen game. I could see a couple of screen passes come into play here. Flacco's usually pretty good at that, from his past career in Baltimore with Ray Rice and, that regime over there. So let's hopefully they're listening to us, Frank. Let's hopefully your friend Stefanski is listening to us like he did last week.
He didn't listen last week.
He listened to
Hell,
Frank.
he didn't. They didn't write.
He listened to Frank. He said, "Don't run the ball."
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. He listened to Frank.
Listen to Frank.
Hey, Eric Vaughn. Eric Vaughn, I got a question for you. Being a Browns fan, did you grow up a Browns fan? Did you grow up in the Akron area, or did you grow up in the California area?
Oh, actually, I grew up in Utah, so we were like agnostic. We had we got stuck. I remember when I was growing up as a kid, we were always stuck watching either the Broncos or the Bears, and so consequently, I hated both teams throughout my childhood. So Akron was the first. When I moved to Akron, the Browns was the first hometown team that I ever had, and so I jumped on board right away.
And what's your resiliency to remain a Browns fan over this time?
You know what? Here's what I appreciate about the Browns fans that I've seen. It's like, I do think, and I'm not just like blowing smoke or anything like that, but I love the loyalty of the Cleveland Browns fan, and I think that is like one of the most. Everybody says that they have that. The Browns actually do, and
I agree.
And I really feel that is like such a quality, and it makes going to the game so much better. There's always a sense of solidarity coming both in and out of that stadium, no matter what happens inside. And I just think that that's a fan experience that I've never felt before. And I think that they got me for life.
You guys,
unlike Pittsburgh,
like
when they're echo. Yeah.
A game just like this past week is hard on the fans. It's hard on Browns fans because it's a game that could have been easily won if they would have played Cleveland Browns football. And with the opportunity to go 8-3, it's hard on these fans who are so loyal like Eric.
Because you feel like you're so close and you think that you're losing because of dumb stuff.
Right.
Leroy, you were going to the bottle. What game was that when you were going to the bottle ready to twist off that Bullwinkle?
Ravens.
What game was that?
That was
the Ravens game.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. I damn near lost my mind.
And so maybe I should not go to the bottle because I'm at the bottle in the beginning.
Yeah, you gotta wait.
I start out with the bottle and the cigar.
Eric, when you travel to LA for the Rams game, are you a spectator? Are you out in the audience? Or are you got some VIP treatment?
The audience.
I think
spectator,
the middle.
A fan.
Metcalf's the man of the people. He's everywhere.
I'm just trying. I just need some.
Hey, as long as the people are in the suite, in the stands below me.
Nice. That's nice.
Damn.
Yeah. He'll be. Hey, speaking of that, he'll be at a. I want to give this Ignatius guy, John. What John's last name? Eric.
Arlaki.
What?
Arlaki.
Arlaki. He has, and I asked everybody to share it on their social media. He's got he's doing a big party out there in the heart of Hollywood at his restaurant.
St. Felix.
St. Felix on Saturday afternoon. I think it's 2 to 4. I know Eric will be there.
No, 4 until 2 in the morning.
I hope so. Because I'm actually going out to the game too. I'm getting there a little later. So I hope.
Well, Frank, take me through your logistics. How do you travel? Are you a spectator? Do you travel by bus, or how do you get out there?
Brother, I pack a toothbrush and that's it.
It depends on what shirt he has on.
Here's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to get at this party tomorrow. I'm going to try to get a place to stay Saturday night because I don't have a place to stay. So I need a place to stay Saturday night and maybe Sunday. And if I don't get a place to stay Sunday after the game, I'm driving to Las Vegas. And I've got some friends out there that I can stay with. All right. In there, my buddy's getting inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame on Tuesday night.
Oh, that's good.
And then what? Huh?
I said, congrats to your buddy.
Yeah. And then Tuesday night, I haven't made my return flight yet, so I'm not sure when I want to come back. My wife's a little nervous about that.
So Francis. So who's going, Franklin, Francis, or Frankie?
That's a great question. Frank is going. I just don't know who's going to be coming back. That's the thing. Yeah.
I don't know if it's starting good because you said only a toothbrush, but no toothpaste.
Yeah, no, I figure I'll find. They give toothpaste away at the at hotels. You ask them, you tell them all your shit was taken.
You get them in first class too. I think Eric knows they got toothpaste in first class, right, Eric?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, right. Come on, man.
I'm a man of the people.
Man of the people. That's not what my cousin said. You're right up there in the first A, seat 1A. Hey, Frank, Tuesday, are you going to be able to join us if you're in the podcast next Tuesday? Or are you going to be at the banquet?
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is what I live for every week. I'll be there. St. Felix, Hollywood, Saturday, December 2nd, 1602 North Cahuenga Boulevard. Did I say that right? Cahuenga Boulevard, brother. We got it straight from LA here. Cahuenga Boulevard, Los Angeles, California. 2 to 4. He's sold 400 tickets to this thing. He's wanting to sell 800. He's working with the city of Los Angeles. He's blocked off streets to have this party. This is going to be
Browns
epic.
backers. Wow.
Yeah, it's the official Browns backers.
I've been before. I've been before. It's a big deal. They block off all the streets, everything. It's a big deal. It's cool.
Now it's from 2 to 4. Please tell me it's going to go through the night.
Well,
look at the invitation, Frank. It says 4 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. Hey, Eric, I can always, if I can't find a place to stay, I can always just stay with you, right?
I'll probably not.
All right.
Probably not. Hey, just know this, guys. When we get on the show next week, Frank's probably gonna have glitter and shit all over him. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Frankie went to Hollywood.
Yeah. I'll have a different pronoun.
Right.
You think?
Well, speaking of that, Francis, give me your prediction for the game.
Okay, I was just trying to find that. I think the Browns, and this is what scares me because these guys out in Vegas, they're smart. The Browns are a dog. And the Browns are, I'm looking it up now, the Browns are a 3.5-point dog. And that I'm a little nervous about that. I'm going to go with the Browns. I like the Browns to win the game. Simply because, I just think the Rams haven't shown as much consistency as the Browns has of late. And to me, it's all about, consistency. And, I think the Browns will correct some of those issues. I think we'll see a different Coach Stefanski will run the ball more, play it closer to the vest on this one. And, I like the Browns winning in a close game.
Go ahead, Eric.
Our guest picker tonight.
I was just going to say that the Browns are 6-4-1 against the spread this year. So as far as like the 3.5, you're going to, I like the Browns to beat the spread on that one.
Do you like them to win or just beat the spread?
Let's beat the spread, and then we'll work on winning.
Okay.
How about you, Mike Tomczak?
I like the Browns 21-20. I like Hopkins kicking 3 extra points.
That's Eric? It. I got the Browns 23-17.
Very nice.
I feel like the defense will step up, make enough plays. I feel like we don't know who's going to play quarterback, but I feel like you said, Stefanski, he
got
can't.
Some humble pie.
Right. He can't do it 2 weeks in a row. He just can't. I don't believe he can. And so I think they just go to play Browns football, run the ball, play good defense, and win this game.
And the most valuable player of the what year was that? Rose Bowl?
88.
No, it wasn't 88.
Why not?
Well, I don't remember you guys playing.
We played 3 times.
Well, he went to 3.
I don't remember. Well, I don't remember.
I
remember you playing them
my
in
freshman
88.
year. My freshman year, we played Arizona State, and then my last 2 years, we played USC.
Hey, you guys ever met a?
Yeah, but your last year was 89.
Yeah, so we went
met a Rose Bowl MVP. You guys ever met a Rose Bowl MVP who was asked not to come back to their school?
We got to save that for the next episode. Yeah, that's a whole episode right there. That's a whole hour. Yeah.
Anyway, what are you talking about? I've been back.
Prediction.
20-17. I think 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals.
Browns win.
Yes.
All right, we're unanimous. Thank you, Browns Nation, for joining us in this edition.
Got the jokes, huh?
This edition of In the Dog Pound, a poundcast found on alumnimedia.com, where you find all your favorite podcasts, raw and unfiltered. I want to thank our guest tonight, Eric Vaughn from Red Point Digital. Certainly want to thank your hosts, Eric Metcalf, Leroy Horde, Mike Tomczak, Frank Stams. Thank you, everyone. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving, and we look forward to talking Browns football next week on In the Dog Pound. Go Browns.
Go YSU.
Bye, Francis.
YSU.
Adios.